and welcome to week 5 of my Beachcombing Blanket crochet along. I'm Eleonora, the designer behind Coastal Crochet, and all the details about this blanket can be found over on my blog. The links are in the description below. I've broken the tutorials down into smaller segments, so if you want help with the entire square then do watch the tutorials in order, but if it's a particular round that you need help with then I've listed all the tutorials in order over on my YouTube channel. And also remember to have the written pattern next to you when we work through these tutorials, because they're not designed to replace the written pattern but just to help make sense of them as we go through. And so round 14 tells us to join yarn B to any corner chain space. So any corner chain space and join with yarn B. And we start like we have many other rounds with 3 chain and then 1 treble US double crochet, 2 chain and a further 2 treble US double crochet into the same corner chain space. And now looking at the pattern, it tells us to do 1 treble US double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. That's 1 and that's 2. And now there's some instructions in brackets. It tells us to do 1 treble in the next 1 chain space. So here's the next 1 chain space. So 1 treble US double crochet into there, and then 1 treble US double crochet in the top of the next pineapple cluster. And so that's here, that's this sort of big sort of gappy stitch is the top of the pineapple cluster. So just work your treble US double crochet into there. And then we go back to the beginning of the brackets, because everything in those brackets we're going to be doing till we get to the final pineapple cluster of the side. So it's 1 treble US double crochet in the next 1 chain space, and then 1 treble US double crochet in the top of the next pineapple cluster. And we just continue that all the way around. So I'm just coming up to the final pineapple cluster of the side, so that's here. So 1 treble US double crochet into the final pineapple cluster of the side. And now looking at the pattern, it now tells us to do 1 treble US double crochet into the next 1 chain space, which is that one there, and then 1 treble US double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. There'll be 2 stitches left before we get to that corner chain space. 1 and that's 2. And so now we're at the corner, and into the corner we do 2 treble US double crochet, two chain and 2 treble US double crochet all into that corner chain space. And so I can now show you what the side looks like. We've just done treble US double crochet stitches, 1 in the chain space, 1 in the top of the pineapple cluster, 1 in the chain space, 1 in the top of the pineapple cluster, and we've done that all the way to the end of the side. So now looking at the pattern, it tells us to repeat from star 3 times, ending final repeat at star star. So as we always do, we go back to where the star is, and you'll see it's 1 treble in each of the next 2 stitches, 1 and 2, and then we have all those instructions in brackets where we do 1 treble US double crochet in the next 1 chain space, and then 1 treble US double crochet into the top of the pineapple cluster, and continue doing that all the way around on each side. So I'm just coming up to the end of the final side, working a treble US double crochet into the final pineapple cluster of the side. And then if you look at the pattern, it's 1 treble US double crochet in the next 1 chain space, and then 1 treble US double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, 1 and 2. And that brings us to star star. We've repeated from star 3 times, and now we're ending at star star. That's where we are now. And then if you have a look, it's a simple slip stitch to the top of this beginning 3 chain to join, and then we fasten off. So I fastened off, and there we go. If you have a look at the work, you can now see we have a simple round of treble US double crochet stitches going all the way around, and there should be 43 stitches on each side. So between this corner chain space and this one over here, between those 2 holes, there should be 43 stitches going across. So moving on to round 15, and we join yarn C into any corner chain space and start it just like we have so many of our other rounds, with 3 chain, 1 treble US double crochet, 2 chain, and a further 2 treble US double crochet. And there we go, our first corner created. And so now looking at the pattern, it says to do 1 raised treble front. We've done these raised stitches in previous weeks. A raised treble front is your front post double crochet in the US, and we do 1 raised treble front around each of the next 3 stitches. So instead of going into the stitches, we're going around the stem of each of the next 3 stitches, from front to back and round to the front again, and just work a treble as normal, just going around the stem or post of that stitch instead of going into it. So that's 1 raised treble front or front post double crochet, that's 2, and that's 3. So those 3 stitches are being pushed to the front of the work. And now looking at the pattern, we do 1 raised treble back, which is the back post double crochet in US terminology, around each of the next 3 stitches. So there are the next 3 stitches. Instead of going into them, we go to the back of the work with the hook, and from the back to the front, round to the back again around the stem or post of that stitch, and then work your treble stitch as normal US double crochet. So that's 1, that's 2, and that's 3. So we've got 3 raised treble front or front post double crochet, followed by 3 raised treble back or back post double crochet. And those instructions were in brackets, so everything in the brackets we're doing 3 times in total. So now it's 1 raised treble front or front post double crochet around each of the next 3 stitches, 2, 3, and then 1 raised treble back or back post double crochet around each of the next 3 stitches, 1, 2, and that's 3. So everything in the brackets we've now done 2 times in total, and so now we need to do it once more. And so here you can see I've done everything in the brackets 3 times in total. So 1, 2, and now 3. And so looking at the pattern now, we now do 1 raised treble front or front post double crochet in the US around the next 7 stitches. So the next 7 stitches we're going to be working our front post double crochet, US terms, or the raised treble front. So that's 1, 2, and then 7. So we've got a run there of 7 raised treble front post double crochet stitches. And now looking at the pattern, we now do 1 raised treble back or back post double crochet around each of the next 3 stitches. So that's where we go from back to front, around to the back again. So that's 1, and that's 3, and then it's 1 raised treble front or front post double crochet around each of the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, and that's 3. So everything in those brackets we now do 3 times in total, so we're going to repeat that twice more. And when you've done everything in the brackets 3 times in total, 1, 2, 3, that will bring you to the end of the side. And into the corner chain space we work the usual 2 treble US double crochet. That's 1, 2, and then 2 chain, and then 2 further treble US double crochet. I'll show you what that first side looks like. We've got that run of 7 raised stitches in the middle of the side, followed by these smaller groupings of 3 on either side. And so now looking at the pattern, it tells us to repeat from start 3 times. So go back to the star, and that's our first instructions in brackets, where we do 1 raised treble front or front post double crochet around each of the next 3 stitches, and then followed by the raised treble backs or the back post double crochet around each of the next 3, and repeat exactly what we've done on the first side. So everything that we did on this first side we repeat on the next 3 sides. I'm just on the final repeat on the final side. I'm just doing my raised treble fronts or front post double crochets around each of these final 3 stitches. Here's the last stitch of the side, working my raised treble front or front post double crochet, and that brings us to the end of the final side. So I'm now at star star in the pattern, and it tells us now to slip stitch to the top of that beginning 3 chain to join and then to close the round. But we don't fasten off because we're going to go straight on to round 16. But I'll just show you first what the sides look like now at the end of round 15. So we've got these little groups of raised stitches giving some nice texture, and that run of 7 in the middle. And so now moving on to round 16. And we make 3 chain, and round 16 is how we have finished all our squares throughout this blanket crochet along, and we simply do 1 treble US double crochet into the next stitch, which then brings us to the corner, and in the corner we work 2 treble US double crochet, 2 chain, and a further 2 treble US double crochet, and then we're simply doing 1 treble US double crochet in each stitch around. When you get to the end of the round, you slip stitch to the top of that beginning 3 chain and then fasten off. And here you can see we have the end of round 16 and the end of our sea glass inspired square with a few exotic pineapples thrown into the mix. So a lovely square, lots of texture, and I hope you found this tutorial helpful. Thanks for watching.